All right, everybody. We're going to go ahead and get started. There's still going to be a few people here trickling in. If you would, please go ahead and mute your microphone. There will be some time at the end to answer some questions. If you have any at all, please feel free to drop them in the chat. I will do my best to get to them. If not, I will absolutely follow up directly after this via email or whatever your preferred method is. But thanks everybody for joining me here today. We're going to take a look at Google My Business. It's a really great free resource that can be used to really take your dealership to the next level. And so I want to just get everybody familiar that's not with it, and we're going to get started. So just to give everybody a little background about myself, my name is Tyler Wilson. I started in digital marketing in 2008, so it's been around for about 13 years. I've worked with anywhere between Fortune 50 companies, with to small mom and pop stores. I really have a passion and drive for digital marketing. It's really evolved, especially, over the last decade, but even seems like every day, new and new advancements are coming out. I've worked with many different stores as far as dealerships. I've worked at all three tiers, and I've been fortunate enough to work in several different verticals even before I got in automotive. There are things here today that apply whether you're a small dealership selling 20, 30 cars a month, or you're one of these mega stores pushing several hundred cars a month. There's very technical aspects and best practices and theories that can apply across the board. So I'm going to just try to keep it very high level. But again, if anybody has any questions, absolutely feel free to shoot them in the text or in the chat rather, and we'll get to them at the end. For anybody that's not familiar with J&L Marketing, we're a direct and digital marketing agency. We've been around for nearly 30 years. Predominantly focusing in the automotive space. So we worked with thousands of dealers with both events and not only events, but also digital over the last 4 or 5 years, especially, whether that's paid search, social media, and really just helping dealers generate more leads, more traffic, more store visits and everything. And so really, I just want to, again, give everybody an opportunity today to ask any questions that you have. And I just want to go over a high level of how you can make your Google My Business page very successful for you. Okay, so just a little bit of background about Google My Business. If anybody's not familiar today, I think a lot of people are at least a little familiar with at least what it is. But just to give you a background, as you can see in this graphic here, it started with Google Local back in 2004. And it's really evolved because Google's constantly evolving. And as you know, online, the consumers, the way they're shopping has changed dramatically, especially over the last several months with COVID, especially. And I'm sure everybody here is familiar with that. But you can see where we started and where we're at now. And Google My Business has constantly evolved and constantly been trying to provide the most relevant information to its users. And Google, its priority is to provide people with the most accurate information and the most relevant information to them, in the hopes that the more information they provide for users, obviously, the more people that will continue to come back to their platforms, whether that's Google Search, Google Display, Google Maps, whatever it is. Google's constantly evolving and trying to always promote the best things, not only for them, but for businesses as well. So Google My Business, what's it do for me? Well, overall, it's going to increase your visibility and SEO, search engine optimization. It's free advertising, essentially. Now there are some programs that Google's recently rolled out that are monetarily, but let's talk about right now. It's a free platform anybody can take advantage of. Google wants to make sure that everything is consistent online, so you have total consistency, whether that's across your page and your websites and everything considerably. It's a first impression for your dealership. More and more and more people are going online, and they're looking for reviews, and they're looking for information. And they're gathering as much information as they can before they're coming to your dealership. So this really provides a really first impression when people go online and start doing their homework. And it really allows you to showcase what you have to offer. It's going to drive you more traffic, more phone calls, and more store visits directly into your dealership. It allows you to interact with customers as well. So whether that's through questions and answers, or whether that's people leaving reviews about their experience. I mean, like I said, more and more people are doing their homework, and less dealers. Over the last, 10 years ago, people might have visited 3, 4, or 5 dealerships before they bought their vehicle. Now it's 1 or 2, because everybody's doing the research online. Consumers have gotten smarter, And Google's allowed consumers to become smarter by providing them with this information and highlighting it and making it very easy for people to interact with businesses and communicate with them directly, something that we've never seen before, and it's only going to continue to evolve. So that's why it's really crucial to really understand what the page is and the benefits of it. But really, it's to showcase your business. It's to give a really nice first impression, and it's to really drive more traffic into your page and into your showroom. So here's an interesting study I found, and this is from Bright Local. So they looked at 45,000 Google My Business pages and businesses over a ton of different verticals. You can see 36 different industries. And I highlighted this, and I think it's very important. So car dealerships, out of everybody they looked at, received the highest number of calls and website visits via Google My Business. So really, they're, dealers, you all are being the most beneficial from what Google has to offer. And so it's really, really crucial that you have your Google My Business information correct as far as your name and your address and your phone number especially, because as you can see, if you're going to be generating this many leads, you really want to have the best information out there that you can provide. And what to do for you? Well, for example, look at all this real estate. And this is just organically. This doesn't talk about, this isn't including the ads that you may be bidding on your branded terms and so on. This is somebody looking for a Johnson City Honda dealer. And you can see the organic ranking is taking up about half the page, but then on the right side of the page, that's your Google My Business listing right there. And you can see how much real estate of the page just that dealership is taking up alone. And this is predominantly because of the Google My Business and how much it's showcasing. You can see right here, I mean, it's really advantageous for you to take advantage of anything that you can, because it's free real estate, essentially. This is all organic. Nothing here is paid, at least yet today, right? Well, here's another shot. This is looking at Google Maps. So you've got Google Search and you've got Google Maps, where you're going to predominantly be showcasing your Google My Business results. And what's great is not only is it going to show you the map with the little card on the left that has all your information, but it's also going to allow you to showcase for discovery searches or non-branded search results. So for example, here's just looking at the Johnson City area, and as I did a search for Honda dealer near me. Now, because of the optimization done to Johnson City's Google My Business page, they're ranking at the top for that local term. And so really all these little things that you do, it may not seem like it's that important, but it's very, very, very crucial to getting more search engine results, which again, it's free organic traffic that you can use to drive to your page and drive people into your showrooms. And again, it's all about providing consumers with the information that they really want and they're really going to interact with. So it's just really, I can't express it enough how important it is to really make sure your information's up to date and everything is really in alignment with how you want it to be presented. Just think about it. This is your resume for your business, essentially. So let's talk about getting started. Now, a lot of you probably already have a Google My Business page, but if you do not, you can get started from scratch. And so I just kind of took some outlines here, go to google.com/business, and you can either find your business, say you lost control of it. Well, you can go into your business and you can request reclaiming control. So what you're going to do is you're going to fill out some information. They're going to send you a postcard with the code on it. And so that way you can verify ownership. But let's say you already, get started. So go into the page, type in your business. Now you can see a business doesn't already exist for New Car Dealer Motors. I just use this as an example, but this is how you could get started from scratch. So if you don't have a page, I would say absolutely go on there tonight and just at least get it started, because the sooner you get started with this, the sooner you're going to start seeing the residual from it and the results. So let's say you already have a page. And again, many people are very familiar with this view right here. Here's just a look at Cape Girardeau Honda. You can see on the right-hand side, it's showcasing their top photos, the map listing. You can see they've got over 1,000 Google reviews at 4.8 stars, which is outstanding. You can see the hours and the phone number. So this information alone allows somebody to just type in, go to Google, and any day, or nowadays, it's kind of crazy, but almost half the searches on Google and search engines, specifically Google, are non-click related searches. And what I mean by that is people are going to go onto a search engine, type in something, and not even click on the website because they don't have to, because Google's showcasing that information with these cards to where, hey, maybe I wanted to get service hours. I don't have to go on the website and view this. I can literally go on the right-hand side and just look and see, okay, look like the hours, they close at 6. Here's the phone number right there. And no clicks have to be done, which is outstanding. Now let's start with the basics, okay? So let's start at the very beginning. And this is the info section. And this is some, from DataBox, I pulled this. This is the SEO, the search engine optimization ranking factors. And so what you see at the very top is the name. The name is very, very, very important. You need to make sure you're not abbreviating anything. You're not having any inconsistencies. This needs to be the name of exactly how it should appear everywhere across your business. So typically that's just going to be your dealership name. But again, it needs to align with everything. It needs to align with your website. It needs to align with all of your details, whether that's your Facebook page, everything. And you can see this is the #1 most important factor in search engine optimization and rankings is your name, followed by your address and your phone number. Those are really the big three. Now, those are so important because Google's also cross-referencing this information with other data it has across the internet. And so it's when it sees your name is consistent across the board on all the Google products, then it's very easy for them to say, yeah, that looks like it's correct. And, you know, this is the type of, you know, so they've got bots, essentially robots that are scraping all this data on the web. And it's categorizing it back in the Google Index and these servers that are massive and have all kind of, it's crazy the amount of data. But this is how it pulls the rankings up and how it determines who should rank first and who should rank second and so on. It's looking at what the data that you have provided, but also from your website and so on. And then it's categorizing that data within its system. And so when you make it very easy for Google by labeling things correctly, using the right hours, using the right address, again, don't abbreviate anything, make it exactly how it should read. And then it's very easy for the Google system to say, okay, well, looks like we can go back in there and associate that and pull this information for the user. But you can see just going down the board, name, address, phone number, those are the big three by far. But also your website link, make sure your website link is accurate and correct. Your business categories, and we're gonna go into that in a second, but are you categorizing it correct way? Are your operating hours correct? Your logo and so on. It's so important that you have all these things and you're just following them to the T. So let's get started in the info section. And anybody that has a Google My Business page is probably very familiar with this already, but you can see that's the second item down right under the home. And this is a quick look of your info section. Now, it's important that you go in there and edit it and make it, anything is consistent as it should be. Make sure your hours are accurate. Make sure your service areas and your address and your name, and maybe you have specialty hours. Make sure all these things are in alignment. And you can see here, there's a good amount of things in here. We've got our categories. We've got our service hours, we've got specialty hours. So say it's a holiday, something like that. You wanna make sure that it's closed because again, you don't want consumers being frustrated because if they go on the website and they say, hey, I wanna go to this dealership on a Sunday, right? But you don't want them to show up and you're closed and now all of a sudden they're gonna be upset and leave you a bad review. It's just bad customer experience. So again, this is a really, really simple way. And it's simple that it's very straightforward. There's a lot of little minutia and little small details that must be entered. And you know, again, Google's looking at all this, it's taking all this data and it's categorizing it. The more information you provide, the easier it is for the system to rank you, the easier it is for it to provide consumers with the information they want. So you can see just going down the list, there's a lot of information. Make sure that everything is filled out. And if you have any questions on any of this, please shoot them my way. And then phone numbers. Let's talk about phone numbers for a second. So a lot of people use call tracking numbers, which probably everybody on here is familiar with. Now, don't use that as your primary phone number. You can add a secondary phone number, and that's where you want to use your call tracking number. So again, as we looked earlier, the phone number is very high on the rankings factor. It's number 3. So you need to make sure that phone number is going to be consistent across the board. So the phone number that you have needs to align with the phone number on your website, and it needs to match everywhere, okay? So here's a pro tip. And I obviously want to give a shout out here to Matt Kellogg over at the Gates Automotive family. Matt is the Digital Solutions Team General Manager, and I consider him an expert and an authority in the Google My Business space. And Matt does an outstanding job of following the best practices and utilizing what are called UTM tags. Now, if anybody's not familiar with the UTM tag, it basically allows you to tag something or tag data and then send it back to Google Analytics. Now, a lot of people may be familiar already with Google Analytics, but that's where you can track your website sessions and your users and all this fun information on the back end. And the order to make this as clean as possible, and in order to really make your tracking as accurately as possible, utilizing UTM tags is crucial. And so you're going to append these to the end of your URL. So you can see an example on the right-hand side of the page. So the homepage, toyotasouth.com. And then here's just a sample tag, UTM source equals Google. So when you go into your Google Analytics, it's going to say the source of this traffic was Google. The medium is organic. So this is not paid traffic. This is organic traffic, okay? And then the campaign name is Google My Business. This is going to make it very, very easy for you to go into the back end and categorize exactly what's going on from Google My Business. So you can measure your traffic, you can measure the impact of some of your posts, you can really measure everything. And I've got a little bit.ly link here at the bottom. So or bit.ly/UTM-builder-GMB. And so Google already has a Google UTM code builder. It makes it very simple for you to enter in the source, medium, the name, all this information, and then append it directly on your URL. So you can see, again, Matt has done an outstanding job and utilizing different tags on your appointment links versus your menu links versus your main link. So that way, when you go into the back end of Google Analytics, you can see the different campaigns and you can see exactly, I mean, we're talking big time traffic, right? You can see exactly the traffic coming from Google My Business, whether it's appointments, whether it's menu, whether it's products, whatever, and you can measure the exact impact. And really, this is just going to take your tracking, your results to the next level. But it all starts with the basic fundamentals of making sure everything is correct and all the UTM tracking is accurate as well. So Google also has the ability to merge different departments. So earlier, there was an announcement back in February about how Google says you should really break out. Their recommendation is to break out pages for service and for parts and so on. Now, there are some things you have to consider because those reviews aren't going to follow over. You're going to have different reviews on your service page than you are going to have on your main page. So there's a couple different approaches. You know, you can have a comprehensive page that has everything, but there isn't really some advantages to having a service and parts pages. Predominantly, you're going to have, well, oftentimes you'll have different hours and maybe you'll have different offers and events. And Google's smart enough to know, and you can see here kind of on the right side, it says more hours, but you can separate that. But something else that kind of happens is Google's only smart enough as the machines are. So you can see an example here with Swickard Honda up in Oregon, great guys up there. Some departments got merged into their business. You can see Elite Appliance Installation, Jake Berg Auto Sales, and there's actually a Teriyaki Grill that ended up there too. Now, these are clearly not businesses that are associated with them. So we worked with the GMB team and had those removed and made sure that was all cleaned up. But these people were benefiting tremendously from the free advertising they were getting from the Google My Business page. Because say somebody is looking for a Honda dealer up in Gladstone, Oregon, and they say, oh, well, what is this Jake Berg Auto Sales? And they click over to that, which they don't really have anything to do with Jake Berg. And Jake Berg's getting this free traffic just by being on the Swickard Honda page. So it's really important to monitor your page, make sure nothing like this is happening. If it is, you can see at the bottom, you see edit your business information or suggest an edit. Just go in there, request the edit. The team is a little backed up right now because of COVID, but you really just stay on top of these things and making sure that you're providing the most cleanest information that you can. So let's talk about post, okay? We went through the info section, let's talk about post. And this is just great information I found. So 1,009 customer searches each month, every single month on Google My Business, with 84% being discovery. And what I mean by discovery searches is these are non-branded. So these are people going on Google Maps and typing, car dealer near me or Honda dealer near me. Nothing brand specific to that dealership. But because of those pages have done an outstanding job of, optimizing their optimizing their page, optimizing their information, everything like that, they are ranking organically and they're getting extra traffic basically going to their site. So this is a big deal and something we have to consider. So the post section, you can see it's right up there at the top there. There's a number of different posts. So we've got COVID updates, which is a newer thing, obviously, this year. We've got offers, we've got products, and we've got events. So COVID updates. So let's say your businesses let's say your business is closed, or maybe your hours have changed drastically, or even your offerings. This is a very simple way for you to go on your page and update that COVID information. So when everybody, when customers are going on and looking and they see that COVID update, they're not going to be surprised when they show up to the dealership and maybe it's closed or maybe it has different hours, or maybe you have offerings that you can do. So at-home service, or we do at-home test drives, things like that. This is going to allow you to post those COVID updates right there. So let's look at offers. So the offer section is great. And something to consider about post is if they're not an event which has dates and expirations, posts automatically get archived after 7 days within Google's system. So it's important that you're constantly pumping out those posts and that content, because again, Google's a content machine and it loves it. It loves fresh content and it loves as much content and information as you can provide. And it's going to reward you for being on top of that. And it's going to reward you organically and everything else and drive that traffic to you, because it says, well, this is something that consumers really seem to be interacting with. They have really good information. They have all these offers and events and everything. And we're going to, give them higher rankings in the search results. And then events. So you can see here, this was an event example, and it's great. It was a Veterans Day event, complimentary car wash for all veterans. It's a very easy thing. Just, upload an event, have your date, whether it's start date and end date, have a good post information and an image and a call to action. And this is a really, really easy and simple way. And this is something that's going to be showcased on that primary map card that we saw earlier. So the other thing I want to talk about within post is products. And not everybody has access to products. So if you do, I would absolutely jump on this today, because this is something that's really going to take your page to the next level. And if you have it, take advantage of it, because like I said, your competitor might not. And this is another great way for you to provide more content to Google and to get ranked organically. So if you've got that product section, you'll see here on the bottom left-hand side, it's got products. And again, shout out to Matt, who's done an outstanding job, not only categorizing, but the images are great. Just following all the best practices as we go in there. So you can see here's some of your products, and there's not a lot of information there, but it is good information that you want to include. So your product name and your category, your product description. Now you have up to 1,000 characters, but really you want to keep them to about 150 to 300 characters as a best practice. Your call to action, and then you can see that link. Now that link on your button, again, we want to use those UTM tags, because if, let's say you have all these different products, the only way that you'll be able to really know what's people are interacting with is looking on the back end and not only your Google My Business page, but in Google Analytics, and seeing how those people are interacting and driving to your site. Because you might have a product like the Highlander that is gotten 2 or 3 times as much traffic as a Tacoma. And so that's really important to understand how not only consumers are searching, but they're also interacting. And what's great too about these categories is you can see these different tags, and it's very simple for a user to say, oh, actually, I want to look at the trucks. Click on that, and they're going to see all the products related to that. So this right-hand view is actually pulled from the Google search map. And right underneath your Google My Business page, you'll see the product section, and that's pulled directly from your Google My Business products page. Okay, so let's talk about some pro tips here. So post often, at least weekly, because again, Google loves it. And these posts get archived after 7 days if they don't have an event with an expiration date. So if you're going to post, it's going to expire, and you're going to make sure to keep up with that and have the most relevant data you can. So use the right post, making sure whether it's a new announcement, event, or offer, you are using that right post effectively. So if it's an event, use the event post, and so on. Use call to actions. Now, again, just like an ad, you have to take advantage of anything that you can. So use the right call to actions, inspire people to interact and drive, and then also let's talk about best practices on the post. So using high resolution photos. If you're using videos, which I recommend, we'll get into, keep them to 30 seconds or less. The title, you have up to 58 characters, but again, oftentimes if it's vehicles, it's, you know, year, make, model, even the make, model is fine. And then details. So that's where we have up to a certain amount of characters, but ideally 150 to 300 is really where you want to be in the sweet spot. And then the UTM tags. Again, I go always back to the tracking. If you can't track and measure it, then how do you know it's working? And the easiest way to do that is with these UTM tags. So photos and videos. Now, this is really, really important here. And this is the easiest way to showcase not only your offerings, but customer testimonials and all this great information that you're privy to. And this is directly from Google. Businesses that add photos receive 42% more requests for directions. So 42% just by adding photos, that's it. And 35% more clicks to the website than businesses that don't. So again, you want more traffic, add photos. Pretty simple, right? Here's the photo section within your Google My Business interface there, okay? And what's great about these is look at the, you know, these are only a couple weeks old. Look at how many views a lot of these have. We're talking about 11,000 views, 9,500 views. I mean, this is a big deal. And again, there's no cost to this. It's a no-brainer, right? So use photos, use videos, use really good quality ones. You don't want to have grainy and low resolution. You know, this is going to be basically you showcasing off what you have to offer. And if people start going to your photos and they're like, well, this doesn't look so great, I mean, why would they visit your dealership, right? You know, if they see something that looks outstanding and really professionally done, it's like, oh, this looks great. These guys must really know what they're doing, right? Sorry. Okay, so videos, same way. And you can see at the tabs at the top, you can actually go into different segments and see exactly everything. But videos are becoming more crucial than ever. Now, again, keep your videos 30 seconds or less. And that's that's really my biggest tip here. Google loves videos, especially for SEO and content, but videos do so much more than the images. You can showcase your dealership. You know, images don't tell the whole story. You can have a walk around of, you know, a vehicle. You can have customer testimonials. You can really do a lot more with videos than you could ever do with images. Plus, repurpose those videos that you do. Maybe you make a commercial and it's outstanding. Put it on your Google My Business page. Why not? There's no cost to it, right? Explain your offers and incentives. Videos convert shoppers into buyers. And viral videos do happen. You know, you never know what people are going to interact with. And your video could go from 100 views to 1,000 to 100,000 overnight, just because people really like it. They start sharing it. Next thing you know, it starts snowballing. And now all of a sudden you have all these eyes on you from a free post you made of a 30-second video. It's kind of mind-boggling. Here's just a quick study from the ROI, and this is how marketers feel about videos. And you can see it's 9 out of 10 are saying, yeah, I mean, obviously it's worth. 89% say video in general gives them a good return on investment. 87 say that video has increased traffic to their website. So 87%, 87 out of 100 have said, yeah, videos have helped me drive more traffic. And again, it goes back to, this is a free platform. And a lot of people already have these videos that are out there, whether that's on your, you know, your commercials, your YouTube account, whatever it is, or even you just film one in your showroom. Just have the GM or a sales manager walking around, just say, hey guys, we've got an event today. We've got these specials. Come and check them out. Post it on your page. People are going to look at that. They're going to say, oh, okay, well, maybe I should go in there and check it out. You know, 81% has said the average time on their page has gone up from videos. 95% say that increase the user understanding of their product or service, because, you know, you can't tell the whole story on images, but the video gives you that much more information you can share and that much easier for you to interact with customers. And people are really drawn to videos. And, you know, I don't know if you've ever gone down a YouTube rabbit hole, but you start watching one and then you go to the next one and next one, and next thing you know, it's 2 in the morning. Anyway, we'll go on to the next section here. Reviews. Now, I can't express enough how important reviews are. And, you know, I was talking with somebody, an expert yesterday, about, think about like a restaurant. Say you're in a different city and you don't really know where to eat. Well, a lot of times you'll type in best restaurants near me, or you go to TripAdvisor and start reading about people's reviews. And this is something small. This is just your next meal, right? This isn't like an investment, but you start looking at pictures and you start looking at these things and you're sold on the reviews because other customers are saying they had a great experience. The food was outstanding. The service was outstanding. So again, like these are things that apply to every industry, no matter whether you're a car dealer or what you're in. Reviews are I don't know, I can't express enough how valuable reviews are. And here's an outstanding stat. If asked, approximately 71%, so 7 people out of 10 will leave a review just by asking. That's all you got to do. Just say, hey, we hope you had a great experience today, and you can integrate this very easily into your service drive, right? Oh, I hope you had an outstanding day today. I hope you're very happy with, you know, your oil change and tire rotation. If you don't mind, would you go online and leave us a Google review? Simple as that. Very easy. They might not, but the data supports the fact that they will. So all you got to do is ask. After reading positive reviews, so again, this is why it's so important to get those reviews. 54%, so over half people that will read a positive review will visit the website. Over half the people that read a positive review will visit the website. That's incredible. And 19%, so about 1 in 5 people will visit the business directly. This is just from a positive review, right? This is just simply reading, okay, well, it looks like this is probably the right place for me. You know, I talked about a restaurant, but buying a $20,000 or $30,000 car is a serious investment. And the more research that people are done, not only on, you know, the consumer reviews and all this safety and everything else, but when they see consistently that people are having a great time at the dealership, there's no pressure, they really worked with them on financing, they really took it, you know, the next step and they walked them through everything, and they really made them feel comfortable, then you start getting a lot of reviews like that, and it makes it very, very, very simple for customers to say, hey, you know, I think I'm going to check this dealership out too, because they've got really highly rated, and there's no reason for me not to. Because when I see 2 dealers and one's a 4.1 and one's a 4.9, you know, it's kind of a no-brainer. I'm going to check out the one with the higher review. And as a lot of people probably here shop on Amazon, and nobody's going to go buy a product that has 3 out of 5 stars when they can see one that has 4.9. You know, why take the risk on having a chance of it not being a good experience when you can take a risk on one that almost everybody is happy with? So again, reviews, absolutely crucial. And, you know, again, shout out Gates Honda. It's not enough to just say thanks or like the review, and those help, those absolutely help, but making sure that you are timely, you're following up with the review almost daily or as quickly as you can. And you can get the app. It makes it very easy. But going back to all this content, right? So the spiders and these bots are crawling and they're saying, oh, it looks like these keywords. So if you see right under this, we've got 4.9 stars, 1,069 reviews. That's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's hard to beat, okay? But when you see these categories, questions, pressure, patient, finance, you can actually click on that and you can see all the reviews that are underneath that category. And so when you see pressure 80, and you've got 80 reviews saying, hey, there's no pressure, really had a great experience, 5 stars, it gives you a lot of confidence to know that, okay, well, that's kind of what I'm looking for when I buy my vehicle. I don't like a lot of pressure. So, you know, this one's very highly rated. Let me check this one out. But also go the next step and just jumping around here. Utilize keywords and don't make it robotic. You don't want to stuff it full of like, thank you for your 2019, you know, put it in there 5 times. But this is an outstanding review that Mackenzie Gates left over for Gates Honda. This person had bought a 2018 Accord, and they said right in the review, thank you for enjoying your Accord that you recently purchased and your positive feedback. I will make sure to compliment Cam and Carl, who they worked with. Thank you for being a valued customer. It's more than, you know, it's like almost like the handwritten note. I heard a very great example from a guy about handwritten notes. And this is a very personalized experience. And people appreciate that. They'll see that. Maybe they'll not even see it at all. But you know what? Who will see it is these new customers that are reading these reviews. And they're saying, you know what? They really do care about their customer. They thank them by their name. But the smart thing here is using those keywords in the response and making that content in the response. Because again, Google's going to crawl that, and they're going to make everything that much easier for it to rank. And so whether these things are liked, whether these things are responded, but also the timeliness. So make sure you respond quickly, because Google's going to judge you on that too, because that's very crucial. All right. Read and respond to all the reviews. You're not going to have all 5 stars. You might have 1 stars. Those are really the most important ones that you get to, because you want to understand what happened. And maybe there's something that you can correct. And there's always the opportunity that they'll leave you a 5-star review. But you don't want to have a bunch of these bad reviews out there, because you can sort by good reviews and bad reviews. And some people are going to, be pessimistic and say, well, yeah, sure, they got a lot of great reviews, but let me read what's really going on behind the scenes. Let's look at the bad ones. And if you're addressing those and saying, okay, we're sorry for your concern, let us make it up to you, right? Makes it very easy for them to see the transparency and the customer interaction. And it really helps give people more confidence, because that's what it's all about. That's what the reviews are all about. Confidence. This is consumer confidence. You want people to be comfortable buying from you, comfortable with the experience, but also showcasing that, hey, we go above and beyond for our customers. And it's proof right here. We have over 1,000 customers who gave us on average 4.9 out of 5, which is, you're not going to get 5 out of 5 for 1,000. It's not going to happen. This is about as good as it gets. And again, when you have that confidence, it really makes it easy for your customers to say, okay, I think I'm going to do my business with them. They seem to have it together, right? Going back to asking, just ask. 71% will leave a review. Create a link. So sometimes you can link back on the review to your website. And again, these are more linking opportunities, more opportunities for content, SEO, but then also social media and email campaigns. Use those to ask for reviews as well. Use any opportunity really you can. Because like I said, the more reviews, especially if you're going to be breaking out your pages separately, which you should. So say you have a main page and a parts and service, or even a service and a parts page. Those brand new pages are going to need some reviews, and they're going to need content. And the quicker you can to build that up and snowball, the better it will be for you, more advantageous it will be for you to drive more traffic, more not only to your website, but also in your showroom, get more people calling, etc. Podium is a great platform. It sends invites. You can integrate it with your process, integrate it with your CRM, make it very easy to automate those responses. Don't, work smarter, not harder, right? So the more things that you can automate, the easier that you can make it for your customers to leave reviews, the better off and more advantageous you're going to be. Here's some data just pulled from WordStream. It says 88% of consumers trust online reviews as much as personal recommendations. So, if again, go back to the restaurant, say, hey, you have a friend that really recommends a place, and you trust your friends, right? And if they give you a good recommendation, you probably will go with it. Well, 88% of customers trust online reviews as much as those personal recommendations. That's big stuff. And then having more reviews, so a minimum of 10. So having at least 10 reviews, and the more the better, obviously, but having more is better. Obviously, always more better. And then businesses like frequent and positive reviews, and Google's going to reward you for frequent and positive reviews. And the better you can have, and the easier you can get with local SEO, the more organic traffic. Again, everything's free. It's a no-brainer, because nothing costs money, right? It's just time. It's just time and making sure that you're doing it correctly and just following all the best practices. So let's look at insights. And, I'm kind of a nerd, so this is my favorite section within Google My Business. And it's all the data. And you can really use this to take your marketing and your advertising, especially, to the next level. Okay, so under the insights section, and this is just looking at the last month, you can see West County Honda, in the last month, they had over 2,500 searches that people were searching for, that their Google My Business page showed up for. And you can see whether it's direct, whether it's discovery or branded. So discovery is the big one, because those are non-branded. These are people that are really, they're maybe a little bit higher in the buying funnel, because typically when you start doing branded and more specific, you're probably closer to purchase. So these are really the ones you really want to get eyeballs on, right? So taking a look at this and growing that discovery traffic and understanding it really is going to be really advantageous to you. But here's a lot of the really interesting data that you can pull. And this is directly from your Google My Business section, right in the insights section. You can look at the queries. And so what a query is this is the search that somebody typed in on Google search or Google Maps, and what your page is driving traffic. So you can see their number 1 and 2 are Honda and Honda dealership. And those are both non-branded. Their brand is West County Honda. And obviously, you know, the make is a Honda, the OEM rather. But when you have people that are typing Honda dealership in a very competitive market, and there's 3 or 4 or 5 dealerships within a 15-minute, 15-mile radius, it's really advantageous for you to show up number 1. Because, you know, again, most people, I don't have the stats off the top of my head, but most people are going to click that number 1 and number 2 results as opposed to everything else. I mean, think about the last time you went to the second page of Google, you know, probably not in a while. And then looking at where the customers see your reviews. So whether that's on search or on maps, so whether that's that main Google search or whether that's on Google Maps listings, customer actions. This is awesome. You can see what's happening. People are visiting your website. People are getting direction requests, or they're calling. I mean, these are very actionable insights that are easily measurable directly from your page. And so everything that you can do, you can track it back and say, okay, I did this. Did we get more or less? And if we start seeing a positive trend, then we really need to start going in that direction and following those best practices. And here's a really cool, this is direction request. And this is where you can really take this data and layer it into your marketing and advertising to take it to the next level. So when you're consistently seeing Chesterfield and Baldwin and all these areas that you're getting more direction requests from, well, you can start making bid adjustments within your ads, and you can start optimizing those to make sure that, hey, we're getting more traffic from this area. We need to make sure we're really prominent in those zones. Phone calls, you can look at not only the time of the day, but you can also look at the day of the week and align that with what you really want to do. So if you really want to drive more midday phone calls on Friday, well, put those bid adjustments into place and see if people are really interacting. But don't, just do it just to do it. Look at the data. The data will tell you definitively where you're getting these calls. Now, granted, this is all Google My Business. This isn't all encompassing. This is from Google My Business, but this will continue to evolve, and this is really great information here. Popular times. So oftentimes, people will go on there, and people don't want to go when it's super busy or anything like that. And you'll go and do a search, and you'll see oftentimes this is the busy as it gets. So you can see 1 or 2 o'clock as busy as it gets, and in the afternoon it starts to slow down and so on. Then the photo views. So we talked about going viral. Look at November 8th, 861,000 photo views. So you got to learn what happened here. How can we replicate this? How can we take this to the next level? Because we had over 1 million photo views this quarter, but 800,000 occurred on that day. So what was the photo? How did we tag it? What can we learn from this to where we can just keep that trend line going, tick, tick, tick up? So pro tips. Use your data. Your data is the most valuable thing. Your CRM is probably the number 1 resource that every dealership has. It's customer data. But how you're using that data is really, really important. So make adjustments to your SEO and your paid search based upon those queries and based upon these areas. So, if you want to start ranking more locally and pulling more traffic from some of these locations, look at your Google My Business and see where you're actually pulling that data. And then optimize your title tags and your H1 tags and your headers and everything on your website, but also on your Google My Business page and in your ads and everything. Make it all very cohesive. So that way it's just a very sound strategy across the board. The more you do that, the better and easier it's going to be. Okay? Bid adjustments. And bid adjustments is one of the biggest things that you can take advantage of within paid search especially. So paid search, you go onto Google and you type in a 2008 Honda Civic and your ad shows up. Well, if you want to make sure you're getting more people on mobile or more people in a certain location or more people on a certain day or time of week, you can do bid adjustments and you can bid up and you can bid down. So maybe there's areas you're not really that concerned with. You do some negative bid adjustments, but you really want to focus on this area or this time of day, or even a mobile device. Phones are becoming more important than ever. Utilize those bid adjustments, but align it with what the data is telling you from GMB, okay? Now, a lot of people say, well, I don't have the resources to pump out 2 or 3 images a day or videos or whatever. And that's fair. That's very fair. But Google makes it very easy for you. And they provide what they call is the Google My Business Marketing Kit. And it's literally free resources directly from your Google My Business profile. And this is outstanding stuff. Okay. So you can see here's the marketing kit. And this is an example just for Cape Girardeau Honda, but you can select the reviews. So choose your reviews and you can just scroll through, choose the ones that you want to showcase your dealership the best. Choose the best reviews that make sense. And then you can actually take that review and create marketing materials that highlight that quote. So these guys go above and beyond. 5-star review from Irish Gypsy, okay? Well, you can have different art and different signs and everything. And you can print that stuff out and put them on your doors. Or you can, download these assets and throw them on your Facebook page. But this is just a really easy, simple way to produce more content. But this is pulled directly from your actual Google reviews. These are, you're not saying this yourself. You're saying, hey, check it out. This person really had a great experience. This is their exact quote. Come and see us. And here's our hours. So, here's just some examples. They were friendly, fast, and courteous. They were very polite and efficient. Overall experience was top notch. Print those out and throw them on your window stickers. And so when people come up to your dealership, they'll see that walking through the door and say, okay, because again, the first impression is everything. Everybody knows how important the first impression is. It's whether you meet somebody for the first time, or whether you see, it's going to stick in your mind. And when the experience is 5 stars across the board, very professional, highly rated, everybody seems to really enjoy this. The perception immediately goes into your head of, okay, I think this is going to be a good time. Now, ongoing management. Now, obviously, it's not easy to stay on top of these things. It really can be a full-time job. And so, please reach out. We'd be more than happy to help you take your Google My Business page to the next level. I'm going to have some information at the end. You can get a hold of us, but everybody's gotten the emails by now. Please call, email, shoot us a message on LinkedIn, Facebook, whatever you want to do. We'd be more than happy to, and maybe it's not even Google My Business related. Maybe you have questions about paid search or your website or anything. Yeah, we'd be happy to help you out on that and just at least give you some direction, no problem at all. But something that a lot of feedback I've heard is considering a same page meeting with a GM or decision maker. And so whoever's managing that page, there's a lot of things to stay on top of. And maybe it's just a quick 20-minute meeting with your GM every Monday morning, but making sure that things are getting done. So as far as the daily and weekly images and videos. So 30-second or less videos, employing customer testimonials, making sure you're using good photos and high quality. But then your post, right? So we talked about it expires after 7 days. It automatically gets archived. So unless it's an event, you want to have at least 1 or 2 posts a week to keep up with this stuff. So whether that's something new, whether that's charity fundraising, whether that's just new products. So maybe you have a new model that just rolled out and you really want to showcase it, or maybe you have a charity event that you're doing for the holidays. Use that, kind of toot your own horn a little bit. Don't be afraid to showcase to everybody all the great things that you're doing for the community. So people really do appreciate that. Making sure you have your service offers, sticking between 150 to 350 characters on all of your posts with a call to action is absolutely critical. And then using those UTM tags so you can know definitively in the back end what's going on, okay? Updating your special hours, whether that's holidays, whether that's COVID, whether that's events, etc. Reading and responding to all your reviews, like, not just liking it, saying thanks, like really taking the time to say thank you very much for coming to our dealership. We appreciate it. We appreciate you as a customer. We'd absolutely love to see you next time you need to service your vehicle. Like really, make it a little personal. Update your products. So again, the product section, not everybody has. If you do it, update it and make sure you are taking advantage of those titles, descriptions, everything, because SEO is going to look at that and you're going to get more free organic traffic from that information. And then staying up to date on new features. Like the internet evolves like crazy, and just trying to stay up to date with it is a lot. And just this year, really, with COVID, it seems like something new comes up all the time. So staying up to date on those features is really going to help you take the next level. So something that comes up a lot and something that was brought up recently from, I believe is early in February, was the ability to have multiple pages. And dealers might say, well, should I have a multiple page? I already have a really strong main page with 2,000 plus reviews. And, I don't really want to mess with just like you said, you know, there's all this stuff you got to keep up with. But really for parts and service, especially, you need to have a separate page. It's really a best practice recommendation to have a separate page. So you're gonna have your main page, you're gonna have a parts and service page, or maybe you might even have 3 pages, a service page and a parts page. But the benefit of that is you can have different hours. And then, like I said earlier, when you click on the more hours, you can see Swickard Honda hours open, closes to 8. More hours, you click on that, you see there at the bottom, you can see the main store hours, you can see your service hours, you can see all your ancillary page hours all in one space. Plus, you have, again, it goes back to content. Maybe you have service specific posts that you want to make. Maybe you have parts specific posts you want to make. Maybe you have different hours for service versus your main store. It just makes it that much easier for customers to get the right information that they need. Google reviews. Now, like I said, one of these pages has 1,500, the other has 42, but the 42 is going to grow and continue to grow and continue to grow. And next thing you know, now you've got 2 really, really strong pages. And now all of a sudden somebody's going on to Google Maps and type in Honda service near me, where your main page may not have ranked for Honda service, but now your service and parts page will. So again, it's one more opportunity to do that, okay? So the other thing that they allowed was having different brands. And so you have multiple new car brands under the same rooftop, like you're a FCA store, you've got a Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram. So you can create a Chrysler page, a Dodge page, a Jeep page. You can do that. There's some mixed kind of feelings on that. There's definitely pros and cons either way. Again, you know, you have the pros of more content, and you have, you know, the ability to showcase each brand specifically. Now it is going to be more work to keep up with. So it's like, well, do you want to do that? I don't know. I don't really have the time. It's still kind of up in the air. It is a newer thing. I kind of conflicted both ways. I see it both ways. So I think it's really kind of a case by case basis. But if you have any questions, let's talk. I mean, just send them our way, and we'll at least like go through the whole pros and cons and see what makes sense for you. I've got a lot of resources here. So again, here's the UTM tag template. Make sure you put that question mark in there at the end of your URL. So it's got UTM source is Google, medium's organic, and the campaign's Google My Business. Makes it really easy. The bit.ly link here, bit.ly/UTM-builder-GMB. That'll link you directly to the Google My Business, or rather the Google UTM tag builder, which makes it very easy for you to input all these different fields. And then what's great about that is it'll spit out the final URL at the end. That makes it really easy for you to just take that and copy and paste it right into what you're doing. The marketing kit. So here's a URL link with the marketing kit. Again, I can do my best to follow up in an email with this information to everybody, make sure that they have it. Or if you need it, please, you know, reach out to us. I'll have my information here at the end. Google My Business best practices. And this is straight from Google. And another bit.ly link here, GMB-post-best practices. That's going to give you all the insights of what you need to do. GMB updates. So this is constantly evolving, but Google's pretty good at making announcements on their ends. Now, there are some articles, you know, some websites like Search Engine Land does a great job of keeping up to date on this stuff. But the Google My Business, just go onto Google and type in Google My Business announcements or updates, and you'll see that it's the top link. And then George Nenny, he's outstanding. He is a automotive expert, especially on Google My Business. And he's got a book on Amazon called A Car Dealer's Guide to Google My Business that absolutely anybody should check out. He's also on LinkedIn. I can't recommend enough. He's got really, really good content. He's just really a good leader to follow and posting really good information specifically for Google My Business. One other thing that is very new, and this isn't something you can just sign up for. It's, you know, they're reaching out and it's kind of in beta, but is this GMB upgraded program. And, you know, they're trying to kind of fill it out a little bit. It's $50 a month. And really the benefit is it gives you that Google guaranteed badge. So again, the whole thing is like people trust businesses that have good reviews, but Google's saying, well, not only do they trust that, but we're going to give you a badge that's a green check mark saying this is Google guaranteed as a good business. Now, there could be some other SEO implications and some other benefits there. It's really new, so not a lot of is known about it right now. But this is it's $50 a month and you can't necessarily sign up for it. It's just a limited beta that if you qualify, you can reach out. Now, if you have a contact over there or a rep, you can probably reach out to them, or I can try to reach out to somebody on my behalf. But it is a very limited exclusive program for only a select number of dealers. So it's not something that you can just sign up for today and get in there. And so they're kind of testing it out. It's $50 a month. It could be worth it, could not. I don't know. We'll find out. But you know, as I said, right now, Google's My Business is free. And if they're already starting to do these $50 a month paid kind of resources, it may just be a matter of time before they start charging for the platform as a whole. So take advantage of it today. Again, I want to thank everybody very much for joining me. If you would like a free analysis, just go to freeinsightreport.com, fill out the information, and not only will you get a free Google My Business analysis, but we'll also do a free digital competitive insights report. This is usually something that we do when we onboard a new client, and it's typically something that costs about $600 because there's a lot of time and resources that go into this. We use third-party tracking to really give you a good insight of where you're ranking for your current paid search strategy, where you're ranking organically and so on, but also on Facebook and Display Network and everything. So if you want to sign up, go to freeinsightreport.com and you can sign up today. We'd be more than happy to help you out. You can email me. I've got my email right here, twilson@jnlmarketing.com. And I just want to thank everybody again for your time today. I feel like there was a lot of questions. I know Matt and some other people have been jumping in and answering those. If there's anything that I missed, I will definitely make sure to go through and respond to you directly. But again, thank you all very, very much for your time today. I know that, time is very limited and it gets even more limited every single day. And I can't thank you all enough for taking this hour and spending it with me. I hope everybody learned something today. And again, please reach out, email me, you can get a hold of us, I promise. And we will talk. I would love to help you take your Google My Business to the next level, whether you're just getting started off, or maybe you have a page that you just want us to take a look at and say, hey, this looks pretty good, but I think you can make X, Y, Z adjustments and get this much more traffic from it. So again, thank you all very, very much today. And I look forward to hearing from you again.